Hey, it's Terry, your yoga bestie, and we're moving along in our chakra series, and we're in the fourth one today, and that's why I'm wearing my green pants. But we'll be using two blocks. If you don't have them, no big deal. We're really only using them in the beginning, or if you want to include it in your practice anyway, so don't worry about it. You can just kind of forget it in the beginning if you don't have them. Otherwise, you might start out in a reclined space using them. So you could place one underneath the shoulder blades, just allowing the shoulders to come over it. And you choose either the lowest height or the second height, definitely not the highest. And if you're like me and your head doesn't touch, then maybe you have the other block there then to allow for you to have a pillow. And then just find where you want to place your arms and legs. And we'll close our eyes as we start to tap into our ujjayi breath. So inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Taking this time to connect with our breath. It'll be our energy source throughout our practice. So as we inhale, we'll feel the space right below the navel start to lift. And as it draws upward, we're going to feel an expansion through our bellies, the side bodies, the rib cage, and our breath draws all the way up to where it lifts the collarbones. And then in our exhalation, we're going to feel our belly button draw in towards the spine, allowing us to use all three parts of the lungs. Our breath is an audible breath, so you're going to hear a snoring-like sound in the back of the throat, kind of like you're fogging up a mirror with your nose. And see if you can create a rhythm where you inhale to the count of 3, 4, 5, even 6. Exhaling the same. Our breath will fluctuate all the time, but if there is more space, see if you can utilize it. Really get in tune with your breath. It's a great way to remain present. And to be honest, we just have an issue with breathing on a regular basis. So really being intentional with your breath right now is going to be super helpful to energize you throughout the practice. So while you're tuning into that, again, I said that we are tuning into our fourth chakra, which is our heart chakra, so located at our heart center. It's associated with the color green, the element of air. In Sanskrit, the heart chakra is anahata, which translates to unstruck, like the sound that exists before anything is hit or forced, which is kind of a beautiful sentiment. It's that pure resonance of love that's always been there, even before we've had heartbreak and disappointment and fear. It's where we feel empathy, compassion, and healing. And the affirmation that I have for you that goes along with our fourth chakra, our heart chakra, is every heartbeat reminds me of the love inside of me. So you might inhale the words, every heartbeat reminds me, and then exhale of the love inside me. And feel free to utilize that whenever you like. I will be referring to it throughout our practice today. On our next inhale, maybe find some movement, just depending on where you are. If you're on your back and you have that block underneath you, you might see what that feels like by bringing the arms up overhead and getting a nice full body stretch, creating more of a back bend. Any other movement that feels good. And you might even remove the block for a moment because you just want to feel the difference between having it underneath you and not. And then from that reclined space or from an upright seated position, we'll all bring our hands together at our heart center in our Anjali Mudra. And we'll set our intention for our practice, which might be utilizing our affirmation of every heartbeat reminds me of the love inside me, or maybe something else resonates or speaks to you. Please honor that. And we'll take another big breath in here. Exhale, let it go. Yeah, and then from this space, we are going to come into a position where we bring that block underneath our shoulder blades. This time, we'll stay a little bit upright. And we'll take our other block and we're going to reach it back behind us so it touches the floor behind us. And then we'll bring it forward. So we're just kind of opening up through the chest here. So it feels kind of like a crunch, but not really. It's just a way of being able to open up more in this area of the body, which is typically not very open. Yeah, we'll do this for 5. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. And then we'll remove the blocks. We can place them to the side or maybe bring them forward so that you have them available later. And we'll bring our knees into our chest, giving them a nice big hug, maybe just rocking along the spine, maybe placing our hands onto our knees and making little circles in one direction and the other, just kind of checking in with how your body feels. And we can come and do a little bit of a twist, just letting the legs fall over towards the right. Maybe placing your hand on that top leg as you gaze past the left fingertips, allowing the body to surrender into the floor. So try not to grip or hold on anywhere. Big breath in. Exhale. And then switch it out. Just bring the legs through to the other side. Your gaze might be past your right fingertips. Maybe placing your hand on that top leg as you allow the body just to release into the floor and into the mat. Big breath in. Exhale. And then we'll bring our gaze and our legs to center. We'll rock it up to a seated position. And then from that seated position, just walk your hands forward, coming into a tabletop. Maybe finding some movement here, like some lateral movement or some cat-cow movement. And then we'll make our way into our child's pose from here. So you can always have your arms extended out in front of you, or you might bring the arms down by your sides, maybe just rocking forehead along the mat. Breathing into this space, maybe feeling that breath along the thighs here. Full inhale. Exhale. And then we're making our way into a kneeling position. Bringing our hands behind the head. So I'm calling this a variation of our camel pose. So really sit back into those hands as you open up through the chest. That's our inhale. Exhale, we'll draw the elbows in as we round the upper back. And we'll just create a little rhythm of inhaling as we open, exhale as we close. Moving at your pace. Next time that you open it up, lean back, really bring your gaze upwards, feeling that space in the upper back and the shoulders and the chest. Big inhale. And then as we exhale, gaze straight ahead. You can always use your hands or just step that right foot forward. We're moving into a warrior one. So you might think about bringing your thumb into that right hip crease to draw it back as you straighten through that back leg, grounding down as you come into that 45-degree angle with the foot. And then we'll make our way upright. Really strong and straight back leg as we reach the arms up overhead. Inhale. And then on our exhale, bring these arms behind the back, interlacing the fingers, coming into our humble warrior. So shoulders drop back as we lift up through the gaze and chest. Exhale, both shoulders come to the inside of that right knee, working that right hip inward so that we're nice and square. And let that head just relax, maybe shake it out. Big breath in right here. Exhale, stay low as you bring those hands down and lift up that back heel. We're coming onto our belly, and as we do so, right leg will stay bent. So coming onto our belly, right leg is bent. And we're coming into what I'm calling like a dancer bow. So we're gonna reach for that foot if we can. If not, we just reach in that direction and lift up the thigh. If we have hold of the foot, that foot will push into the hand to lift up, and we can then reach the left arm forward and maybe float that left leg, creating this back bend here, this heart opener. One more big breath in. As we exhale, hands come underneath the shoulders, and we're gonna bring that right foot to the outside of the leg as we come to an upright seat. So left leg is extended, right knee is bent, moving right away into our wild thing. So you can always have this left leg bent and come into a supported version, or with that left leg extended, that left hand comes to the outside of it, and we come onto the ball of the right foot as we lift up those hips, holding it here, maybe finding some movement. Big breath in, we reach up, opening up through the heart. Exhale, gaze to the front. Big step forward with that right foot as we move into our runner's lunge. So I like to have my blocks to each side of the foot as we start to shift forward and back from runners to our pyramid-like pose. Moving at your pace. And then just checking in with how this side of the body feels. And the next time that you come forward, Move into a runner's twist. So left hand is down, right arm reaches up as we stack shoulder on top of shoulder, really reaching up towards the ceiling so that we feel that length of the side body. And keep reaching up because we're lifting up that torso, coming all the way into our exalted warrior. So right arm is down, left arm is up. Can gaze past that shoulder as you kind of lean into the right. Inhale. And then as we exhale, ground down through that back foot. We're facing the other direction for goddess. So heels in, toes out. And we're bringing that left arm underneath the right arm for eagle. So you can reach for opposite shoulders, or maybe arms can wrap around each other. And we're creating little torso circles here. So moving a few times in one direction, and then we'll switch directions. Nice. We'll meet back at center, and then coming into Sky Archer, facing the back. So left toes face the back of the mat. Reaching for that left wrist as we lean back. Big inhale. Exhale, cartwheel those hands down, and then lower the knees as we make our way into our child's pose. So just checking in with the body here, maybe finding that wiggle. If you have those blocks and want to use them, just bring them to the back of the mat so that you have them available. Big breath in. Exhale. And then we'll make our way to kneeling for that variation of camel where we create that cat-cow movement. So go right ahead into your pace. Next time that you sit it back, really open up as you gaze upward, breathing into that area of the body. Inhale. Exhale, gaze straight ahead. We're stepping that left foot forward and coming into that warrior one. So you can always bring your hands down to help you get there. You can bring that thumb into that hip crease if it helps square the hips. And then we'll reach those arms up overhead. Big breath in. Exhale, setting up for humble warrior. So bring those arms behind the back, interlacing the unusual way. So opposite thumb on top. Shoulders draw back as we lift up our heart and gaze. Exhale, humble warrior. Both shoulders come to the inside of this knee. We make our way into this space. Release the hands underneath your shoulders. And we're taking that left foot to the outside of the right leg as we come to an upright seated position, facing the front of our mat now. So we have the two options for wildling. And either way, the right hand is to the outside of that leg, but you can bend the leg and lift up, or you can have that leg extended and lift up, maybe finding some movement here. Inhale, we reach, lifting up those hips. Exhale, gaze to the back of your mat, a big step to the back with that left foot for runner's lunge. And we'll start to find that movement as we shift forward and back here. Noticing both sides aren't the same. Ooh. Both sides are tight for me today, though. You know, that just happens sometimes. It's all right. Next time that we shift it forward, move into that runner's twist. So right hand is down, left arm reaches up. As you stack shoulder on top of shoulder, really lengthening. So try not to put too much weight into that right hand so you feel that length through the left fingertips. And we're gonna lift our torso all the way up for our exalted warrior. So right arm up, left arm down. Big breath in here. And as we exhale, ground down through that back foot, coming into our goddess pose. So right arm will come underneath left, finding your version. And once you do, we can start to make those circles going in one direction. And then going in the other direction. Yeah, and then we'll come back to center. Straightening those legs for sky archer, so right toes face the front of the mat this time as we lean back, taking hold of that right wrist. One more big breath in here. Exhale, cartwheel those hands down, and we'll find our child's pose for a moment. Just taking a big breath here. Exhale, let it go. And then let's make our way into our first down dog so we can tuck those toes under as we lift up the hips, finding some movement to warm up in this first down dog. Making sure to check in with your breath so you're not holding it here. Big inhale. Exhale. And then on our inhale, shift it forward into your plank pose. We'll exhale, lowering either all the way or we can hover. Inhale into your cobra or maybe your up dog. And exhaling into our down dog, lifting up those hips nice and high. Full breath in. Exhale, let it go. And then bend the knees. We gaze forward as we step or float to the front. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. And find a forward fold that you like. So make sure your feet are about hip distance apart or 2 fists in between. Maybe wider. I like wider. You could reach for opposite elbows. Maybe bring the arms behind the back. Bending the knees as much as you like while shifting that weight forward so you're feeling that length in the backs of the legs. One more big breath in. Exhale, we'll release those arms. Start to toe heel your feet in towards one another. And let's roll all the way up to standing, coming into our mountain pose. So we'll draw those shoulders up, back and down. Full breath in. Exhale. Inhale, arms reach up overhead, gaze lifts. Exhale, forward fold. So either swan diving or bringing the hands through heart center. Inhale, we lengthen halfway. And then we plant the hands as we step or float it back. Lowering or hovering. Inhaling into cobra or your up dog. Exhale, down dog. And take a full breath in here. Exhale, let it go. Softening the knees, we'll gaze forward as we step or float to the front. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Let's reverse. Reach it up and back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we lengthen. Hands plant as we step or float it back. Lowering or hovering. Inhale. Exhale, down dog. Big breath in. Exhale. Soften those knees, gaze forward as you step or float to the front. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, forward. One more of these, so let's reverse, reaching it up and back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we lengthen. Hands plant as we step or float it, making our way to our down dog or any resting position of choice. How we doing? That concludes our warm-up. So just know that our warm-up always includes so many poses from our 2 main sequences, which I call peanut butter and jelly. So each version is just set up the same. So as we move through our sequences, we're going to do it first time a little bit slower. And then we'll start to pick up the pace as we repeat 2 more times, more at breath pace. And then we do the same thing with jelly. And then it's my favorite part of the practice, where we bring them the 2 together for one delicious peanut butter and jelly sequence sandwich, which is my favorite part. All right. So good news. Today, we start out in child's pose for our peanut butter version, our peanut butter sequence. So go ahead and make your way there. And as you do, we're going to check in with our affirmation of inhaling, every heartbeat reminds me. Exhale, of the love inside me. Every heartbeat reminds me of the love inside me. All right, child's pose. So take a few moments just to breathe here, maybe find a little bit of wiggle space. Check in. And then we'll make our way to kneeling. Bring those hands behind the head as we inhale, lifting, and exhale, closing. Just moving through this a few times at your pace. And the next time that you open up, hold it here. Really lean back as you gaze upward. Inhale. Exhale, gaze straight ahead. Stepping the right foot forward and left foot back for warrior one. And then we'll bring those hands behind the back, interlacing the fingers as we set up for humble warrior. Inhale, we lift. Exhale, both shoulders to the inside of that knee. Take a full breath in here. Exhale, we'll release. Staying low as we lift up the back heel and then make our way onto our bellies, keeping that right leg bent. Again, we reach and lift, or we find that foot and we push into the hand as we come into our dancer bow. Big breath in. Exhale. We'll release the hands underneath our shoulders as we come to that upright seated position. Inhale moves us into our wild thing, so that left hand is down, right arm is up, lifting up through those hips. Inhale. Exhale, gaze to the front of your mat. Big step forward. And this is where we change from the warm-up, so maybe you have your block here as we come into our half moon. So flexing through that left foot as we open it up. And if you have your block, it has different heights. So play with what you need today. Big breath in. As you exhale, lower the left hand down, lower that left leg down. So we're in runner's lunge to our runner's twist. So left hand comes down, right arm reaches up as we twist towards the right. Really reaching up through those fingertips. Inhale. As we exhale, bring the right hand down and bring the knees together as we come into our child's pose. So that is our peanut butter for today. Big breath in. Exhale. And then we'll come into that upright position, kneeling. So bring the hands behind the head as we start to open and close here. Next time we open, hold it here, lean back as we take a full breath in. Exhale, gaze straight ahead. Left foot steps forward, back foot comes to the 45 as we set up for our warrior one. Inhale. Exhale, hands come behind the back, interlacing the weird way. Shoulders draw back as we lift up through the chest, setting up for our humble warrior, both shoulders to the inside. Big breath in. Stay low as you exhale, bring those hands down, and we come onto our belly, keeping that left knee bent. Can reach for it for our dancer bow. Inhale. Exhale, release the hands underneath the shoulders. Come into that upright seated position where we move into wild things. So right hand down, left arm reaches up as we lift up those hips. Full breath here. Exhale, gaze to the front, big step to the front with that left foot as we move into our half moon. Trying to lean back as you stack shoulder on top of shoulder, flex through that foot like you're placing a big footprint in the space behind you. One more breath in. Exhale, lower the right hand down, lower that foot down as we come into our runner's twist. So stacking shoulder on top of shoulder here. Inhale. Exhale, lower that hand, lower the knees, and we'll come into that child's pose as we start to pick up the pace here. So come to kneeling. Just one time we inhale. Exhale, close. Inhale, lift. Exhale, gaze straight ahead. Warrior one, we inhale. Exhale, arms come behind the back. Inhale, we lift. Exhale, humble warrior. Hands come down as we make our way onto our belly. And then we inhale into our dancer bow. Exhale, hands underneath the shoulders as we come to that upright seated position. And then we inhale, wild thing. Exhale, gaze forward as we take a step forward for our half moon. Big breath in. Exhale. Make your way to your runner's lunge so that we inhale our runner's twist. And then we exhale, making our way back to child's pose. Take a full breath in. Exhale. We come to kneeling. Hands behind the head as we inhale. Exhale, close. Inhale. Exhale, gaze straight ahead. Left foot forward, back foot spins to 45 as we inhale, warrior one. Exhale, arms come behind the back. Inhale, we lift. Exhale, humble warrior. Hands come down, staying low as we come onto our bellies. For dancer's bow, inhale, we lift. Exhale, hands underneath the shoulders as we make our way to an upright seated position. Wild thing as we inhale. Exhale, take a big step to the front for half moon. Big breath in. Exhale, release it down to your runners. Inhale to your runners, twist. And then we exhale, child's pose. Big breath in. Exhale. All right, inhale. Exhale, we close. Inhale, lift. Exhale, gaze straight ahead. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, arms come behind the back. Inhale, we lift up through the heart. Exhale, humble warrior. Hands come down as we come onto our belly. Inhale, dancer's bow. Exhale, hands come underneath as we come to that upright seated position. Inhale, wild thing. Exhale, take that step forward. Inhale, coming into your half moon. Exhale, runners. Inhale, runners, twist. Exhale, coming into child's pose. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, close. Inhale. Exhale, gaze straight ahead. Setting up for our warrior one on the left side. We inhale. Exhale, arms come behind the back. Inhale, lift. Exhale, humble warrior. Coming onto our belly, dancer's bow. We inhale. Exhale, hands come underneath the shoulders. We come up to our seat, and then we inhale wildly. Exhale, take that step forward. Inhale, half moon. Exhale, come into your runner's lunge. Inhale, your twist. Exhale, make your way to child's pose. That is our peanut butter. How we doing? So check in with your breath. Slow it down if it started to speed up. Give yourself permission just to let that sink in for a moment before we move into jelly, which will be coming to the front of our mat in a mountain pose. So when you're ready, you can make your way there. And as we make our way there, we'll inhale, every heartbeat reminds me. Exhale of the love inside me. Every heartbeat reminds me of the love inside of me. All right, mountain pose. Work those shoulders up, back, and down. Check in with your breath here. And then on our inhale, arms will reach up overhead as we bring that left knee in towards our chest. So flex through that foot and draw it towards the center line. That's going to be helpful for remaining balanced because everything draws towards the center line to keep us with our strength. So we'll inhale here. Exhale, step it all the way back into your runner's lunge. And then we'll inhale, coming into our runner's twist. Exhale, lifting all the way up to our exalted. Bring that left arm overhead as that right arm is down. So we're kind of leaning in towards the right, gazing past that shoulder. Full breath in here. And then as we exhale, ground down, we're coming into that goddess. So right arm comes underneath, left arm, finding your version. And then we'll make some circles going in one way. We'll make some circles going the other way. We come back to center for Sky Archer, facing the back. So left toes face the back of your mat. We reach for that left wrist as we lean it back. Big breath in. Exhale, just kind of gaze towards the back because we're setting up for dancer's pose. So we're bringing that heel to where it kicks the behind. We hold on to that foot, whether we reach for the inside or outside of the foot. And this might be your dancer's pose today. If you have more space, you could reach that arm forward and have the foot push into the hand to create more of a back bend. It's totally up to you. Finding a focal point to focus on to help you remain balanced. That isn't foolproof though, right? You might be wobbly, it's all good. Take a big breath in here. Exhale, release, and we just bring that knee into our chest as we set up for our second side. So reaching up towards the ceiling, drawing that knee towards the center line as you lift it up. flexing through that foot. Big breath in. Exhale, step it back to your runner's lunge, and we move into our twist. So right hand is down, left arm reaches up, stacking shoulder on top of shoulder. This brings us all the way up into our exalted. So right arm is up, left arm is down. Full breath in here. Exhale, ground down through the back foot. We find our goddess. Left arm comes underneath right. And we can find those circles going in one direction. Going in the other direction. And then we come back to center, setting up for sky archer. So now we're facing back forward. So right toes face the front as we reach for that right wrist. Inhale. Exhale, square yourself off to the front as you kick your behind, setting up for your dancer's pose. So again, you might bring your knees together and stay here. If there's more space, foot can push into the hand to create that space. Big breath in. Exhale. Knee draws into chest. And we'll start to pick up the pace a little bit. So we step it back to our runners. To our runner's twist, where we lift all the way up into exalted inhale. Exhale, ground down. Right arm comes underneath left arm. And we make those circles. So we go in one direction, and then the other direction. And then find sky archer facing the back. Big breath in. Exhale, gaze towards the back, setting up for your dancer's pose. Where foot pushes into hand, creating that space as we inhale. Exhale, knee draws into chest. Inhale. Exhale, step it back. Inhale, runner's twist. Same inhale brings you all the way up to exalted. And then we ground down through that back heel. Left arm underneath for goddess with eagle arms. And make a rotation one direction. Make a rotation the other direction. And then we inhale, sky archer. Exhale, gaze to the front. Inhale, dancer's pose. Exhale, knee draws into chest. And we inhale, lift. Exhale, step it back. Inhale, runners. Same inhale lifts you up to exalted. Exhale, ground down, right arm underneath. And we'll make a circle one way. We'll make a circle the other way. Inhale, sky archer. Exhale, gaze to the back. Inhale, dancer's pose. Exhale, knee draws into chest. And we inhale, lift. Exhale, step it back. Inhale, runner's twist all the way to exalted. Exhale, ground down, left arm underneath right. Make one circle. Circle the other way. Inhale, sky archer. Exhale, gaze forward. Inhale, dancer's pose. Exhale, knee draws in. And we can step it back all the way to our down dog or any resting position of choice. Guess what? You made it to my favorite part of the practice. It's peanut butter and jelly time. So we're bringing these two together one last time. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty excited about it. My heart is explodingly open for this portion of the class. So we start out in child's pose. So go there if you're ready. Feel free to just kind of check in with the body, check in with your breath, give yourself a pep talk. Because we've done this so many times already. This is just the last time. You're gonna do amazing. You are amazing. So as you come into your child's pose, inhale. Every heartbeat reminds me. Exhale of the love inside me. Every heartbeat reminds me of the love inside me. All right, let's do this. Child's pose. Take a full breath in here. Exhale, and we come to kneeling. Hands come behind the head as we inhale. Exhale, we close. Inhale, lift. Exhale, gaze straight ahead. Right foot forward, back foot spins the 45 for warrior one. Exhale, arms come behind the back. Inhale, we lift. Exhale, humble warrior. We stay low as we bring those hands down, coming all the way onto our belly. And we inhale into our dancer's bow. Exhale, hands underneath as we come into that upright seated position. Inhale, wild thing. Exhale, step it forward with the right foot. Inhale into your half moon. Exhale, coming all the way into your runner's lunge. Inhale, runner's twist. Same inhale brings you all the way up to exalted. Exhale, ground down. Right arm is underneath left arm. And we'll take a circle one way. We'll take a circle the other way. Inhale, sky archer to the back of the mat. Exhale, gaze to the back. Inhale, moving into your dancer's pose. Exhale, knee draws into chest. And then we step it back. Option to take a vinyasa if you'd like, or make your way to child's pose, because the first side is done. All right, child's pose, check in with breath. Take a full inhale. Exhale. Coming to kneeling, hands come behind the head as we inhale. Exhale, we close. Inhale, lift. Exhale, gaze straight ahead. Left foot forward, right foot spins back. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, arms come behind the back. Inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, humble warrior. We stay low to come all the way onto our belly as we move into our dancer's bow. Big breath in. Exhale, hands underneath shoulders. Making our way upright. And then we inhale, wild thing. Exhale, gaze the back. Left foot steps to the back as we open it up for half moon. From our half moon, we step it all the way back into runners to our runner's twist. Left arm up. Lifting all the way up on that same inhale for exalted. Exhale, ground down. Left arm underneath right. Eagle arms as we make our circle one way. And we make our circle the other way. Inhale, sky archer towards the front. Exhale, gaze to the front. Inhale, we move into our dancer's pose. Exhale, knee draws into chest, and we step it back, making our way to down dog, maybe through a vinyasa, or any resting position of choice because you did it. Yay. How awesome do you feel? I hope so awesome. So make your way to a seated position. And before we make our way into our final space, check in with your breath at first before we move into our alternate nostril breathing. So we're gonna make our hang loose hands. So bring those 3 fingers down. We'll plug up the right nostril with our thumb as we inhale in through the left. And then we close off the left as we exhale out through the right. Inhale right. Close, exhale left. Inhale left. Close, exhale right. Inhale. Close, exhale left. And just keep moving through this at your pace for as many rounds as you like. Once you are complete, bring your hands to your knees, breathing in and out through both nostrils, just letting that sink in, along with all of the practice. If there's anything else that you need that's upright, this is that perfect time to do that. Otherwise, you might make your way into a reclined space as we settle into our final pose of Shavasana. If you prefer staying into a seated position, being more meditative in that way, feel free to do so. Otherwise, as you make your way into your space, take up as much space in that place that you're in. I like to remind my students of that so that when we take up space here, because our real lives are a reflection of our practice, the idea is that once we leave the mat, we take up space. So take up all the space that you're in. Give yourself a moment to be so grateful for showing up to your mat today, so grateful for all the hard work that you put in, and grateful for what took place that created this feeling right now. And be so proud of yourself because you did amazing. Know that I'm so proud of you. And just allow your breath to be soft and your body to be still. Shavasana. As always, stay here as long as you need, but if you are ready, go ahead and make your way into a seated position when you're after taking a nice big stretch or finding any little movements, maybe rolling to the side and cradling your head into your arm. We'll meet in a seated position where we'll bring our hands together at our heart center. Every heartbeat reminds me of the love inside of me. Thank you so much for joining me today. As always, it's a true honor to be with you. And until next time, namaste.